baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here,
Black versus the Board of Education.
'cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we don't ever go, so you do what you been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
And indeed, we are a whole mood. Welcome back to another episode of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and I welcome you into this space. Today, we are talking about what families need to know right now and how students are going to pay the price. Let's be very, very clear. I don't know if y'all have been under a rock, but there are several school districts that are threatening to strike. Some have already confirmed a start strike date. And this is not about who's right in a labor dispute. This is about what instability does to children. Because when adults clash, systems stall, or campuses shut down, students absorb the disruption. And no press release can soften that. So before we get into the discussion, I always love for you to know who's in the building. I'm going to start with my ladies who are on the screen and come back into the studio for my gentlemen. But we're going to go ahead and start with Mama P. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Patrice Hill. The young people call me Mama P. Says mother, educator, poet, out here loving Black children and all children to, be their best selves.
Love it. Miss Coco. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, I am Coco. I'm a poet, educator, and author, and associate director of SAYS, and I believe youth is the truth, and I'm going to advocate for them to the death of me.
I love it. And my baby is finally back in California. Go ahead and introduce yourself, girl.
Hey,
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I am a student at University of California, Berkeley, studying African American Studies, and I'm happy to be back.
Hey, so you guys saw the Trump administration lost, and they're rolling back the DEI cuts and directives that were given out through that administration. So I'm wondering, Melissa, how that's going to impact what it is that you lost behind the foolishness. So we're going to keep an eye out for that, but I wanted to put that in the air, in the atmosphere. So those things are being rolled back because they should have never been put in place in the first place.
Right.
Gentlemen, hey y'all. Mr. You, right next to me.
How you doing? My name is Mr. Fox.
Hey, Mr. Fox. And right across the way.
Hello, everybody. Mr. Chastain. Happy to be here.
And you guys, I'm concerned because our kids are already having a problem in the schools, right? There are a lot of different behavioral incidents. There are a lot of things going on in the classroom. I know, when we were on campus, we saw how the teachers were interacting with the kids. And now they're going on strike. And so, what I want to ask you, the very first question, what happens to students during school instability? And I'm going to start with Coco.
When I think about what happens to students during school disability, I just think about all the students that go to school for safety. I think about all the students that may go to school just to have some type of community, may go to school just to eat, use school for different things. So when teachers are on strike and there's no school happening, we're impacting our community in ways for kids to be able to interact with people and do the things that they need to do. And that's just the first thing that comes off head, and then I'll pass it to somebody else.
Mr. Chastain.
Chaos. It's just a bunch of chaos. The kids are going to be able to run up and down the hallways, do what they want to do, how they want to do it, and that's going to be a bad scene with nobody there. That's just going to be a bad scene. A lot of chaos.
Melissa.
I think it causes, like Ms. Coco was saying, it causes students to also be unstable. Like we think about what if they have a home life that is unstable and they come to school to have that stability that there is, like when there is a structure, that some students really need that structure. And if they are in a school space where they have that structure and that's helping them succeed, they become unstable too. And they wonder why children are the way that they are. It's not always their fault. It can come from these school structures having stability and that stability being ripped out from under you. If you have a foundation and you completely pull a foundation out from under a house, from under any type of building, that building is no longer stable. And that same goes for children as well.
Mr. Fox. Why you laugh?
Because I can't never hear a question and just answer the question.
Okay. Where are you about to take us?
When I heard that, I was like, what'll happen if the preacher don't come to church? These are main people. As a parent, if I wake up as a parent and say, this school system is already having problems. Now, I wake up and I see all the teachers are striking and I'm supposed to wake up and take my kid over there. I'm supposed to trust that that you guys as a collective have it together when you guys as a collective are walking out, and then you're saying you're doing it for the betterness of my child, but you've never called my house and said anything good about my child.
Mama P.
Listen, come on. I want to say peace to Mervin Brookins in the chat too, brother to brother. Hey, brother, I see you. I don't know why I can't chat you back, but I see you. What happens to children when there's school instability? Young people don't have a place to go during the school day. Parents don't have a place for their children to go while they go to work. Young people don't have access to food, resources. But most importantly, they're losing learning. And we already know that our young people are performing towards the bottom of
every single
academic subject, right? We've seen from the last school strikes at Sac City Unified School Districts, teachers, they were on strike for 8 days. I know my nephew missed his AP tests. There were a lot of students that like missed critical material. It was in the springtime, so not only did students the strike, I think it ran into spring break if I remember correctly. So students were out of school for almost 3 weeks. And they're still recovering from that because the district had to go back on and add days to the school calendar. They're making up days for money that was paid from the federal. It's a domino effect. So and teachers don't get paid when they're on strike either. So not only is it affecting young people and parents and families and communities, teachers are also losing money. But we're expecting young people to be able to like have this basic skill set, like this basic academic skill set, and a strike like disrupts just like the learning environment in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So routine disruption equals emotional dysregulation. Students thrive on predictability. When school schedules shift, we can assume that there will behavioral incidents will increase, anxiety will increase, attendance will drop, and the trust erodes. For students with IEPs, trauma histories, or behavioral needs, routine disruption can cause major regression. And so when we're thinking about that, and a lot of times I really have a hard time kind of balancing it, because every time that we hear a strike is coming, we always center what the adults need or what the adults are fighting for. Like they're saying class sizes, right? They want lower class sizes and it's always about what they need. The problem is when our children have the same exact needs, there's no union that goes in to fight for the betterment of what our children need.
Right.
So when you look at this type of stuff, I'm wondering, Patrice, because you talked about how it affected Sac City. How are those service minutes for our kids with IEPs? How do we expect those service minutes to be made up, or how do we expect our children to recover from the loss of learning, which is their right in California to free and appropriate public education? So how do we balance that with adults taking time to fight for their rights while the children are kind of being left behind?
There is no balancing of that. The young people are going to lose the most. Like the students are going to lose the most because those minutes are okay. Let's take Sac City again for example. They're making up the school days this school year, right? By school starting earlier and ending later. However, this is 2 years later. This is almost 3 years later that, and so the students, if I'm a student and I was a senior or a junior and I lost instructional time and I had an IEP and now we're making up time 3 years later, I lost that time, right? I'm not going to be able to recover from losing that academic time, those minutes that I lose, that safe space that I might lose, and also understanding that there is no when young people are underserved, there is no union that comes in, right? There's no strike that happens. It's business as normal. So you cannot make up what young people lose during strikes. We're not gonna win. We're not gonna win on that. The young people are gonna lose the most, and I know that. I'll pass it.
Mr. Fox, do you want to address the comment? I mean, we can't address the comment because we're not the teachers. But what do you say to comments like Brother Brookins left in the chat? No one wins during strikes. Teachers deserve to be paid their work.
I just don't actually believe it myself. I just believe that the school's supposed to be for the children. In reality, the school system is supposed to be for the children. And oftentimes what we often argue on this show is what children are receiving the education that they should be receiving. So as you were saying, you can't make up somebody's education, but I believe that you're wrong when you say, oh, they missed the education. No, they're catching the education. This is what they teach them. Time does not stop for nobody. So this is what you're going to show them come that day. And when you say teachers should be paid what they're worth, to me, we're not talking about teachers in schools that have a high that kids are graduating with economical numbers of genius numbers with. So I'm looking at what are we paying you more for? What is your worth if you was already at a school where the kids were not receiving the services that they should receive anyway? What are you striking about? What are you really there for? Like I said, if a preacher doesn't go to church in the morning, everybody can say, "Oh, where's the teacher? Where's the preacher?" Because there was a lesson that was supposed to be taught. There was some preaching that was supposed to be gone. So, anytime when something like this was going on to me, and I hear all the chaos and disruption about it, I look at where are the adults that are supposed to be adulting right now? If two of my cousins get in a fight right now, two of my aunties gonna call, two of my cousins gonna call, two of my uncles gonna call, we're gonna figure out where they're supposed to be fighting at next and who we need to call to make sure that fight doesn't happen again and what the reason why and where was the babies at when it happened. So we've been hearing about these strikes going on for days and days. Who been making the phone calls behind the phone calls? Who been calling and say, hey, y'all make sure we show up for the babies, or hey, even though we ain't gonna be there on Monday, let's make sure the kids gonna eat. I don't hear nothing out of none of these teachers' mouths about anything about these babies. They just keep talking about striking for us and what we want with us. Y'all have not y'all ain't even treating our children right as it is in the actual schools for me to think that you're worth anything. Get rid of them and bring us some new teachers. Hurry up and strike. Do we got some people ready to step in and take their place? That's what I want to know. Do we got 2 more Patrices, 4 more Cocos, and another? Let's get ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for Monday morning. I'm ready to teach. Are you? I mean, we got
Fox. Fox. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. It sounds good, but if you do replace a teacher that's there now for a Coco, I'm gonna need my worth.
That's right.
I'm gonna need my worth. You know what I'm saying? Especially I done went to school. I done got my teacher credentials. Whatever y'all say.
That's really doing what they.
It's
some teachers that's really worth it. There is. But if a teacher's not worth it,
do deserve their worth, and there are bad teachers. But like you said, this is about the kids, and what are we gonna do for the kids? Why we strike for our worth? You know what I'm saying? Because I understand on one hand striking for your worth, but as a teacher, as an educator, as a person who love kids, I gotta say, all right, y'all, before I not show up to work, what's gonna happen to my babies? You know what I'm saying? Are they gonna be in these classrooms with a bunch of substitutes? Are they gonna be missing their instruction?
Yes,
are they gonna have to make up days? You know what I'm saying? Like Patrice said, we going to school early, we not getting no summer. You know, nobody's thinking about that. Them kids in Sac City, I think, is starting in August and getting out late June. They're not even getting
Yeah.
summer vacation anymore.
Like
So,
we
you
used
know,
to.
yeah, those things to think about. So I hear what you're saying, though, Fox. There is some people that don't deserve raise, that don't deserve these things. But there are, I know you probably don't believe it, but there are some good teachers out there that deserve their worth. There are some good, and I know some good teachers. I've been in community with some good teachers that really deserve their worth.
And I just want to add on to that. There are, you know, we can run a gamut. We know that, you know, the teaching force is it's predominantly white women. We can, you know, pull up the data regarding that. But when we look at a teacher's salary in San Francisco, right, it's around like $80K. Where you can't afford to live in San Francisco on $80K, and you can't afford to live, you know, in the district that you teach in, and that's a disparity. And we're talking about a city that has more teachers of color, right? More folks that want to give back to the communities they come from. But what happens when I can't afford to live in the community that I teach in? That's something wrong with that system. And so we got to look at that as well.
And I think that it's important to note that for the most part, the ones that are making the big bucks are the ones in the cabinet and the superintendent's team, right? Mm-hmm. And so how are we going to talk about equity in pay for those folks? And that's not what the topic of this is, because we're going to focus on the babies. But at the same time, we have to understand the structure that exists currently.
Right.
Every year the teachers are striking, right? Or I'm sorry, they're not striking every year. They're negotiating their contract every single year. And when schools are talking about, or when there's a looming strike, families are told we're negotiating in good faith. There's a contingency plan, or learning will continue. And my question to folks who say that is how?
How?
And at what cost to our kids? What I've heard in some contingency plans is, yes, continue to send your kids and we'll figure it out. That's because they need the average daily attendance. They want to get paid for you sending your babies. But can they provide what it is that your child should be learning day in and day out? Melissa. Yeah. You got a question? Okay.
Because I don't know. I thought either you would know it or Coco or Patrice would know.
Okay.
Or even Melissa might know. I just don't know.
Okay.
But how churches break down in different denominations.
Right.
I'm starting to learn that the schools break down different denominations. You have chapter 1 schools and this
Title ones.
And I may be mispronouncing it wrong. I'm not saying that to disrespect nobody's title. But what I am saying is, when these teachers go on strike, is it just only certain titles that's going on strike, or is this
it's all for one and one for all? Is my understanding of a strike. Everybody.
Okay.
And the issue for me is they go on strike, but there's a desire to keep the schools open. In order to do that, you have to have people who are willing to cross the picket line.
Right.
And that too can be dangerous.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, can we keep it real? That too can be very, very dangerous.
Right.
Because what you're saying is, okay, I understand what they're doing, but shoot, I got to eat. Right. And so you're crossing that picket line and you put yourself in danger because other people want you to stand with them. Yeah. What say you? What do you think about that?
That's a hard moral issue to me. Is there such thing as your spiritual? You have a spiritual morality, and then you have ethical morality. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your ethics don't line up with your spiritual morals. And for me, and again, I'm not a teacher. I'm a mentor. I'm only speaking for me. So this is Fox's opinion.
Well, I think you're a teacher in a sense, but you're not the type of teacher that's got to strike.
I'm not on the political force or the line that you guys are on to know the ins and outs of what you're standing on that line for. So me, if somebody was to tell me, Fox, hey, bro, we striking tomorrow for the babies, I understand that ethically for my work amongst my brother, but morally, I also, like what Coco was saying, who's going to be in my class? What's up with the baby? You have certain connections. Right. So then some people have a hard choice to make. Me, I don't know what the answer is for me to put my foot in my mouth and step on it. What is my job to? I'm learning on this episode myself. I'm becoming more educated too. So as I speak, I'm more feeling orientated right now than factual orientated. And I believe that in situations like this, when people don't know the actual facts, it's cool to speak your opinion. I'm speaking it. Hey, this is my opinion, but it's best to say, that's my opinion. That's not a fact. Hey, Coco, do you know a fact, or Patrice? You know what I mean? So I personally, I couldn't do it because my morals ain't letting me do it. But then again, my paycheck ain't predicated on that right now. My paycheck with BYLP, and on the way we get down, we don't leave until all the shoes are thrown. You know what I mean? I can walk away from the table with a loss, but it's heavy for these teachers and what they're trying to bring to the table or what they're not trying to. So it's for me, I'm just trying to learn right now, what is it that I'm actually supporting or not supporting? Because I have a job too, even as a mentor, even as a person who's not a teacher, we have a job too. We have a job to either get behind these teachers, or we have a job to say, hey, this one is wrong, y'all. We have a job to make. Even as a mentor, we have a job to say something ain't right with them babies over there or that school. So I want to support if it's correct, but if it's not, I want to be able to say, hey, come on, or I want to be enlightened. Coco, be enlightened. Patrice, enlightened. You enlightened. You know what I mean? But this is what we're doing.
And I'd love to hear, if you're a teacher or you know a teacher and you're in the chat right now, I'd love to hear your perspective about what we're talking about. But I have I have a question, Mr. Chastain. Who gets hit first if a school was to go on strike? Who gets impacted first?
Kids.
Which kids? All kids?
I say the kids that go to that school, because again, they're not there, and parents have a system with sending their kids to school, timing wise. Maybe they have to drop them off or whatever it may be, or we're picking them up. If this is disrupted, or just the aspect of the education is disrupted, then they are having the problem. The kids are having the problem. They are the first line of this that have to deal with no teachers there. No teachers there, no school, take your butt home, and then there's what after that? Right. What is there after that? Because if you think about it, if the kid is not at school, they're at home. I'm not allowing my kids to just stay home like that. Now I have to be there to make sure that they're okay. Yeah. They have lost. Now I have lost because I got to take off or whatever it may be. But I think the kids lose off. They lose off the bat first. It's social. Yeah. It's social as well as the educational aspect. They lose first.
Can I add that is poor children that lose first, like poor children, Black children, children that don't have the resources? Because if you got resources, you're just gonna send your kid to a tutor or a daycare or some sort of other thing during the school day, right? It's children that don't have resources. It's families that don't have resources, that rely on school, that rely on after school programs, that rely on before school programs. So it's children with limited access to resources that are going to lose the most, because if, like you said, Mr. Chastain, if my child has to stay home from school, then I'm working from home, and we're going to be doing work, we're going to be doing activities, we're going to be doing home learning to make up for that. But everybody doesn't have the capacity, right? Right. We all don't have the same abilities to just like, I tell your job, I'm going to work from home, or I need to pivot this to be able to support my child. So I think that there's and it's our children, Black children, are already performing the lowest when it comes to every academic subject as well as testing. And so that's loss of time is going to just continue to impact that. And then we'll see the effects of that in the next testing season or the next academic season. So it's really, it's to compound your point, we can pivot, but everybody can't pivot.
Right.
Right. And that leads right into my next question, Melissa. How does instability widen achievement gaps?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it really goes to what Ms. Patrice is saying too, like that instability of missing however many school days, are within the strike, missing those days, not having the correct teachers, having substitutes come in, or whoever is coming in who does not understand where the curriculum was left off and things like that. Like there are some students who have the ability to go to tutors to help fill those gaps, to make sure that they don't fall behind. And we saw the fall off and that we saw that achievement gap academically with COVID and Black students and Black children. Like the home learning does not work for everybody. And I'm glad, like it worked for me. I was homeschooled basically my entire life. It worked for me, but it does not work for some people. Being at home and learning does not work for some people because they don't have the correct environment. You have to consider some people don't have access to proper internet. There are so many different things that affect the way that students learn. And so all of those strike days that students cannot go to school, cannot learn in a situation that they have found that works for them. And then you have students who have the tutors, have the people who can come to their houses to make sure that they're doing that they have what they need. They have parents who are professionals in this field and things like that who aren't working 2 and 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. Like they have all of the, there's a huge disparity. So that instability and not being able to go to school, that gap affects us and Black students and Black children and Black families overall more than anyone, because then you have those gaps, and then there's the parent teacher conferences, and the parents have to take off work to come make sure the kids are okay, if they can take off work, because then now if the parent can't come take off work to come see how their child is doing, then the school wants to look at that parent and that Black family like they're not doing a good job, but you have no idea what's going on at home too. So there are so many different levels to the way that strikes are affecting Black children specifically. So that gap happens with Black children.
Right.
Who is typing? Which one of y'all?
Sorry. I'm taking notes.
all good. How fair is it to discipline students for dysregulation during chaos?
Oh, come on.
How fair
is it?
Is it
to discipline students for dysregulation during chaos?
The dysregulation that they caused?
That part.
It's not fair at all to discipline students for anything that you cause.
I'm just asking the questions. Don't jump on me.
You should not be disciplining students for anything that you cause, you've done. None of that. Sometimes they don't even need to be disciplined for some of the stuff that y'all discipline them for now. So discipline them for something that the administration caused or a teacher caused or anything like that, you should not be disciplining the students for that at all.
But we know that they will, right? And so just paint the picture for them, Fox. Does instability create the very behaviors they are going to punish, and why?
We are that picture don't have to be painted. That's the reason why we're going on a strike.
Tell them.
That's the reason why we're going on a strike. The point is what you guys are talking about right now. The ripple effect is the ripple effect is different, man, of what you guys are speaking about. I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. We'll come back to you. So does instability create the very behaviors that they are going to punish later?
Yes.
Talk to them, Ms. Patrice.
Yes, it does. That when I lose my consistency, right, then my program is disrupted, and now I might have behaviors that are coming from me not having a safe space at home, me not having access to food, not being able to go to the after school program. They're creating an opportunity for a perfect storm of different effects to challenge a child's like stability, right? We remember from COVID when young people were getting suspended from Zoom. Like I would, young people would come to our class and they suspended. They suspended in another class.
Oh,
like how you getting suspended
from
in Zoom?
If they
got suspended from Zoom, yes.
If they were doing things in the background, like cleaning the house, or for instance, if their siblings were running around in the background, they were suspended. Yeah,
they would get suspended. If things popped up on their screen, they would get suspended.
What is the suspension if you are at home already? Like, what did they do?
But I mean, now you're missing academic lessons. Like, although I'm at home, I'm missing my assignments. You know what I'm saying? If I can't log on, I'm missing my assignments. And now we gonna magnify those injustices and the gaps that we already have. You know what I'm saying? If you stop me and I can't graduate high school, I can't get the classes I need in my IGETC, my A through G's. If I can't do these things, now you're perpetuating the gap more, because now I'm not a high school graduate. I'm not, all these different things I need to close the wealth gap. And you can suspend me from Zoom. Now I'm still missing class time. I'm still missing lecture time.
Wow.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh.
It's suspended on here on
Yeah.
Oh,
a
there been police
That
call
is
to the
crazy.
houses. Oh yeah, there was a lot going on during
Yeah,
COVID.
police
That
call.
is crazy.
You're right. It was police call. You better make sure them kids was in the right spot. Don't let OG Unc walk by. It's over for everybody.
So, if stability is essential to learning, why is instability treated like a small inconvenience? Why everybody looking?
You continue to perpetuate the same thing that they perpetuate when they in school. It's kind of like what Fox was saying either. It's kind of a catch-22, right? Yeah, the strike and all that, but we just continuing to push down Black and brown children, low income children, whatever you want. It's just continuing to further that gap. No matter how we put it.
Part of the design.
That's all this designed to do, to continue further the gap, to continue to wash babies, to continue to do the same stuff we've been doing, either if they in school or if they at home on Zoom, if we on strike. It's the same stuff in a different way.
But it's something that they my train of thought, it's something that they can do different right now. Within everybody is looking at education. A lot of people. You have people going to school board meetings. You have Black Youth Leadership Problem. You have SES. You have all these community partners and all this coming together. So in my brain, when I see this coming together and you're looking at the ripple effect and you're looking at what could happen with the babies, I'm looking at, this is the first time to me that I've seen so many teachers, they finish strike and everybody's seen it coming. It's like, what are y'all going to do with the strike? This is a time where you can actually teach the babies what they're going to do with the strike. We are in a time where we've been teaching people how to advocate for themselves. Is a BYOP comes and we teach babies to advocate for themselves. We teach the adults to advocate for ourselves. We advocate for ourselves. This podcast, we advocating. This is a movement that they're having right now for so many people to be confused. And I myself don't know nothing about it, but I'm taking the time to become educated on what's going on. This is a time right now where the teachers can say, okay, this is what we really asking for. We're not just the fact that, okay, I want my class to go down from 44 to 28, which is a very reasonable ask. Who's to say that that's not? But this is also a time to be able to say, how did my class get to 42 anyway? Who made that call? Why is it like that? How do we make sure that okay, let's also talk about they can really make this impactful rather than just say turn it into what it is right now. Right now, everybody's questioning, there's judgments and everything that everybody's questioning. It's a testimony of how it has fumbled in the past and what type of taste it has left in people's mouths in the past. That's why they think this. So now that all this is happening with the babies, of course, people are going to say, okay, the teachers, what about the babies? This situation has yet to unfold. That being said, it is not too late for teachers to get a hold of it. Let the adults adultify up in here. Hey y'all, let's make sure that we make something of this and make something of this that the kids can learn from. I can learn from these podcasts. You guys got the ball right now. You watching, you're going to strike. My question is, I hear everything we talking about in here, but my question is, what's going to be different this time? What are we going to do with this strike? How are the babies going to learn? Rather than who benefits? McDonald's benefits because all the babies are going to go there and get hash browns in the morning instead of going to school. Who benefits? The busing system because now the kids can go from they're going to be going to Arden Fair Mall. Who benefits? Nike Air Max because now baby ain't going to be at school at 10. Her and the partner can go and they can get twin matching Nikes. That's who benefits. So I just want to see what are the teachers going to do this time, and that's what I implore. I encourage them. I implore them. Come talk to us. Come talk to Black Youth Leadership Project and involve us in what's going to be different this time.
Yeah.
Can I add on to that really quick?
Yes,
ma'am.
Because Fox makes an amazing point because he just said like McDonald's benefits or Arden Fair Mall benefits. That's going to put more pressure on those community partners that are at Arden Fair to make sure that our children in particular act right on a normal day, right on a weekend or a holiday break. So now you got kids out of school in the north area. The first place they going is Arden. That's the first place they gonna go is Arden or Tadoko, right? And now that's a domino effect. And you got the whole, if you got two districts out that are situated in North Sacramento at the same time, and then you got students that are going to congregate towards Arden Fair Mall or Doko, and we know that all our children are not angels. And when they get together in mass, that things happen.
Chaos.
And so And so now the folks that are, you know, already in community partnership with these other places to help support our young people on a normal day, that's going to impact that. So there's going to be so many different ripple effects from young people not being able to go to school.
Right.
Yeah. And I also want to add on to that, because that will put strain on our community partners who are at Art and Fair, who aren't going to get paid for this extra time that they're going to put
Right.
in, right?
Mhm.
And they can't strike for that. But that
Right.
also gives license for law enforcement to get involved.
Right.
Mhm.
That too.
You know, and so we really have to be clear on what it is that we're expecting our young people to do. My understanding, there are some districts that are going to keep their campuses open. Their contingency plan is to use community partners. Are there enough community partners to fill the gaps that this is going to produce? And I would say probably not, because there has not been a real relationship built between the teaching core and your community partners to be able to insulate where you left off. We can only do so much because we're only on your campuses, what, 4 hours, maybe twice a week.
Right.
So what is it that we are expecting our community partners to do when the relationship hasn't been built in order to sustain what it is that it's going to create this mass disruption of service?
It's funny that you said it, because right before this happened, literally right before this happened, as we all know, they kicked all the community partners off some of the campuses. You kicked the community partners off of some of the campuses. Now you're doing this, and you open up the door for, as you just said, there's no connection. There's no correction without connection. You bringing in community partners that ain't nobody even connected with now.
Yeah.
And for some kids that nobody's watching. So now we don't know if they cool with them or not. You know what I mean? Versus the community partners that was there before it happened. They was walked in. They was met. They was monitored. We know who knows who. And this kid knows to go to that person when they're distressed. Now you're distressed. The child's distressed. And you're bringing in a distressed community partner. And you're hoping that that's going to be it. Because guess what? They're a community partner. Everything's going to be okay. What about those of us that was there and that we was doing a good job?
And you know, too, I seen the question come through from, I think it was Goody.
Yeah.
You know, some community partners, what we can do is maybe inform parents, because some parents might don't know that these strikes are going on if they're not tuned into news or, you know, stuff. We can probably inform them. We may,
And
if
that's
we
what
have
we're doing right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, with flyers, things like that, inform the parents. We can open up our centers if we have centers for some of the students that's already on our rosters, already in our program, and let the parents know. But like y'all said, we can't do it all. We can't make up for their instruction time. We can't do things like that, but we can take some relief off some of the low income parents, the ones that may need their kids to be in school, the ones that may need to come to a center and use some Wi-Fi to, you know, do homework, things like that. That's what we can do as community partners, and continue to inform parents like we're doing now.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback on that. I remember when the last strike happened, we really used Facebook as a ground zero for communication, and that was all of us. That was BYLP, that was SES, that was RFDC, that was Brother to Brother, that was Innovation Bridge, like really
Voice
trying
of
to
Youth.
posting like where lunch could be accessed, where food could be accessed, where there was tutoring, where centers were open, where Wi-Fi access was. It really took the community to do that, because the schools really were just like, okay, the schools is going on strike, they're going to be closed. But the community really stepped up to like keep parents and keep folks informed.
Got to be solution oriented too, Coco. I like how she came through with that. You know what? We
I'm always trying to come with a solution.
That's what all this right here happened, man.
I'm always trying to come with a solution, brother, you know, because people need solutions, because there's so much going on. People need empowerment. People need solutions. People need inspiration. People need these type of things, because if not, if you already got anxiety and you listening to these things and you stressed and you a mom and you just like, I don't know what to do. So instead of me dumping this on you, let me give you a solution too of how to climb up out of this. You know what I'm saying?
Melissa, are children becoming collateral damage in adult power struggles?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is very clear that, like you're saying, the adult power struggles, they don't understand how it affects the children. Like, and the whole topic of today's conversation is when there are needs that teachers have, the students also have the same needs. They want smaller class sizes too. They want teachers to want to show up, and teachers want to show up. So they want more money to be able to do their job better. They want to not have to reach into their own pockets to buy pencils and notebooks and things for their students. Like, they want the same things that the students want, but the students become collateral damage because nobody listens to the students. There's no one there to advocate for the students. The students cannot bring up the same issues that the teachers can. And sometimes when the teachers bring up the same issues, the administration does not care. They'll throw a paycheck at them and tell them to go teach. Like, they know a lot of people don't care about what the teachers want either. And that ends up affecting the students because the teachers have to bring in, or they have to teach the children that are thrown into their classroom. They're not always given the correct resources to be able to help for, or not always given the correct resources to help these children who, all kids, they want to be able to succeed. They want to be able to go into places to succeed. It's when the environment gives them certain things that make it harder for them to succeed, where they feel like they're not cared about. They feel like they shouldn't want to come to class and all these things. So they do become collateral damage when people disregard them and they don't listen to the issue that they have. And every time that they try to bring up an issue, they are told to go back to their classroom and stop having an attitude, when really they're trying to advocate for themselves, but they aren't. No one listens to them. So yes, they do become collateral damage in these adult issues, because the adult issues do concern them, because they're still humans. They're still people. They will become adults one day. When do they get the chance to advocate for themselves? Do you just, like, you turn 18 and suddenly you know how to advocate for yourself? No, it takes time, and you have to have experience in advocating for yourself. So they do become collateral damage, and it affects them in the long run a lot farther or down the line than people actually realize.
Mr. Chastain, same question. Are children becoming collateral damage in adult power struggles?
Of course, they're always collateral damage, because just like Melissa said, the parents ain't listening. Nobody's listening to the kids. I was never heard. So yeah, still collateral damage.
Still?
Yeah, my mama tells me stuff that does things. So yeah, I'm still collateral damage from what she's going through or whatever it is she's dealing with. I'm still collateral damage. So the kids are in trouble.
You know, it's unfortunate that we live in a country that don't care about kids and old people. You know, we're just in a country that does not care about our elders or our children, and they're just collateral damage to whatever we want to do, right? My money, my power, that's very unfortunate, because a village without any kids and elders, what kind of village is that?
That's right. What they say, God looks out for babies and fools.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Patrice and Coco. Should districts publicly report learning loss after strikes?
Ooh.
You on mute. See, I was clicking and I was trying to be considerate of the clicking, because I'm a student right now in a graduate program. So this is all like, it's so many things, it's so many layers to it, right? Because I truly think, yes, districts should report that learning loss. Can we get some reports on how the pandemic has affected learning loss and affected us, like, mentally and emotionally and academically, all these things? Yes, they should, but how can you quantify that? Like, how can you, even if they do give us the data, is it truly accurate of everything that a child loses during a strike? It is not. It is not inclusive of all the different types of turmoil and losses that young people experience during these times. So yes, they should put it out. Will it be reflective of the actual damage that has been done to young people? No.
Well, I mean, and that's just like the California dashboard that. I
was just about to say, the data we can look up now is not reflective of what's actually happening to young people in these classrooms, especially Black children, right? We know that there's layers upon layers upon layers of the data that's even actually reported, and we know that data is skewed.
And unfortunately, because it's self-reported and we believe that the districts will report accurately, you can imagine that the stuff on the California dashboard is a lot worse than what we see, because they are not reporting accurately. And that's what I was arguing with them about at the state capitol when they first proposed this California dashboard? Who checks for accuracy? And then what do we do with the information once we have it? Because there's some information that school districts have had for a very long time and nobody acts on it. It's like out of sight, out of mind. But we'll suspend them, but we're not going to teach them. We'll put them out the class, but we're not going to take the extra time and actually read through the accommodations in their IEP because we think they're optional and not really a document that says these things must happen. And those are the types of things that have been going on. If you go to these school board meetings, you hear the folks who are frustrated with their pay or the fact that they have to come out of pocket to pay for their medical insurance. The medical insurance is ridiculous. I pay less for my medical insurance than some of these teachers. I mean, they pay $1,800, $2,400 a month for medical.
Ridiculous.
Like, why isn't the district doing more to cover that? But you won't say nothing about the salaries of some of these superintendents. We make sure they cool, but the people who are actually on the ground doing the work are not being compensated at the rate of these folks that are comfortable over here in the district office, and we got to keep that a buck. It just is what it is.
Yeah, and we also got to keep it a buck that teaching is not like an honorable profession in the United States, and it needs to be, because a teacher is, I mean, you're sacrificing so much. I was in Southern California this weekend. I know you were too, sis. I met some folks from India on the elevator, and they were like so juiced that I was an educator, and they were telling me how like in India, teaching is like one of the highest professions you can be. Like, you're respected and you're paid because it's such an honorable profession. And here it's the opposite, right? Like, how can you afford $1,800 for health insurance? Like, as an educator, we already know the salaries don't match. And you know, I know we're trying to talk about it from the young person's perspective, but if you're a teacher and you're having to pay $1,800 to $2,000 for health insurance, you ain't gonna be trying to worry about what my child needs in your class. You're gonna be worried about how you're gonna pay your medical insurance for yourself and your family.
Right. And that's the truth. But let me ask you this, because I'm just going to ask. If teachers were paid their worth, would they treat our children better?
Probably not.
No. No.
Now, why do y'all say that? Now,
I will say this. I do understand this. And in life, we all got problems. I will say that financially, there might be a couple teachers who might have had a little bit more patience because money. People, I do understand. Some people got bills. Money would have made it easier. They probably didn't have a breakfast too, or whatever. So that might have led to somebody having more patience. But money doesn't change people's ethics or morals or integrity. My question would be this: do any of us actually? I have two questions. Do we know what the actual teachers are asking for? And my second question would be this. My more important question is, when teachers are going on a strike, who gives these people the authority to buck back at the teachers to tell them, no, you're going to have 45 people in your class, or you know what, no, you're whatever it is they're saying no to. It sounds like the people they going up against don't even have the integrity. Like, for the stuff that teachers are fighting behind. Because my auntie was, I do actually have a auntie mine who was a school teacher, a very good school teacher at Cordova High School for many years, married a coach and all that. I have heard the complaints. I have seen the no pencils. I have seen the stacks of paperwork like this. There has been the incidents where she was like, well, that boy said that tomorrow, I'm not going to have a job. You get at me like that tomorrow. You know what I mean? It is a hard job. Like you said, it's not a glorious job. But who gets to just push back at them and tell them that, like, hey, yeah, you're a teacher and you're going to have 50 kids in your class. You ain't going to stand up and you're going to have to work on your lunch break. Who's telling them that?
I'm not really sure.
Who you guys have to strike against?
I know that they're striking against the district. I know that for the most part, the superintendent is in the room. I don't know if there is a bargaining unit within the school district. I know the union has a bargaining unit, and they have certain people who are responsible for getting their issues on the table. Now, I've been watching the news because I don't barely do that. And it said that the superintendent is not negotiating in good faith. And this was talking specifically about the Twin Rivers superintendent. And I'm part of a bunch of groups on Facebook, so I get all these notifications from different school districts. My understanding is they're upset with Superintendent Bassanelli and her whoever it is that is not coming to the table and addressing they want lower class sizes, they want their medical covered, they want, and it's not unreasonable.
Okay.
However, the children are the ones that are going to suffer, and who has a contingency plan to deal with the mental health or the chaos that this is going to promote on campus, because it's already chaotic with the teachers there.
And that's right. The reason why I asked that is because of that point right there. If the teachers don't get what they want, then are we setting our children up for a situation where now the teachers are going to be, and not saying all teachers again, I'm not saying about all, but it sounds like they'll be even more upset. And as you said, some of the things even I as a human being can understand. Do they deserve it? Yeah, you don't deserve such large class sizes. So with them being disgruntled like that, and if they don't get it, and you got somebody operating with you without good faith, and then you having to go back in there and you still didn't get anything you wanted, what happens for the kids, as we're saying? What happens for these teachers? Are we setting it up for more bad teachers? It sounds like you just setting up the pool to, if this doesn't go through, a few teachers will leave, but it doesn't sound like it opens the door for more teachers. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey guys, come over here, it's the lick right now. Come on over there. I'm like, hey man, this is what it's being told about teachers right now. You can't be a teacher right now. They're gonna overwork you. But if you need a couple dollars, come on over here.
So can I ask a question, Patrice? Well, go ahead and finish your point, and then I'm gonna ask.
Well, I was gonna say that folks are already leaving the teaching field like in droves. Like, you know what I mean? Like teaching field is coming down, and I it's usually the teachers union versus the district, right? And the teachers union will have like the set of demands that the teachers need more pay. They need to pay less on their health insurance. They want, smaller class sizes, like all these things, right? I know that most districts gave their teachers a raise, over the last, like Lorene said earlier, the teachers union and the districts are always negotiating. They're always in a negotiation. I know like LA Unified gave their teachers like a 5% increase and a $2,000 stipend last year. And the nurses got a $5,000 stipend. And, we don't know the ins. I mean, y'all know more because y'all go to more school board meetings than any other community partner. So y'all should really be y'all the experts with what's happening at these places. But we know that go ahead to your point, sis, and I'll come back.
I think it's just time to rethink education. It's a perfect time to rethink education. It's a perfect time to strategize. I think the teachers need somebody to work with to help them strategize. I think as a community, we need to just rethink education. We've been in the same, I think it's testing and accountability standards of education for the last era. And I think it's a perfect time while we're seeing all these strikes, instead of just worrying about my pocket, my money, we need to come together and rethink the education system. Who is it working for? Who is it serving? Who needs to be at the door? And I think as a people, we need to come together and do that instead of just worrying about me. But it's unfortunate in this country right now, people are worried about me, my job, my pocket, my family, and we're not thinking on a community and unity basis. But across the board, from here to New York, to Florida, to Texas, to the middle of the country, in Kansas, it's time to rethink education.
You said somebody's Kansas.
Somebody Kansas.
The middle of the country, when they be voting, they be like in the middle of the country, Kansas.
I just think, do you guys think, I don't know what I think, but do you guys think that parents should know more about, should it be, transparent, and that parents should know more about what's going on in their district? Like before they strike, should they get some sort of paper that outlines everything that they've been talking about? Like, what do you guys think as a parent, Patrice? Would you want to know what was going on, and maybe how parent voice could actually change the tide of some of these things that are happening?
Absolutely. I want to know everything. I want to know where the money is, where it's short at, what, Sac City's talking about they're about to cut 400 positions. Like what positions are getting cut? Like what community partners are going to be affected? Is this affecting like after school, before school programs. Like, I need it all. Like
Well,
give it
didn't they
all.
wipe out all the MOUs in Sac City? I thought one of the administrators told us that. Just
see,
blanket wiped
We're
them
not
all
in
out.
City.
see, and I'm a parent. I ain't got no notification about that. And unless and I do read the newspaper and I do, read articles, but it still doesn't give me it gives me like surface level information. It's nothing is they're not digging down for any of the information.
Yeah.
Yes, parents need
So
to know,
go ahead.
taxpayers need to know, community members need to know. I think everybody should know what's going on in schools, what's the funding, who's working in schools. I think all that should be open. It should be like a Facebook open.
And most of this is done behind closed doors and closed session. Let's be clear. So I think it should come outside, and we should be able to know what people are asking for, and not
Yeah.
just be saying, "Okay, we've reached an agreement." Based on what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you asked Fox. You asked what the teachers were asking for. Number one, they're asking for competitive and increased. This is based on Twin Rivers and Natomas Unified. Competitive and increased pay, fully covered health benefits, smaller class sizes and better working conditions, increased support for students with greater needs, more special education support, more counselors, better services for English learners and foster youth. These supports are tied directly to meeting student needs in the classroom rather than stretching teachers thin. And number 5, campus safety resources and professional support. Some local demands include improved safety procedures for students and staff, which teachers argue is essential for stability of learning environments. And let me be very, very clear. Your environments are created by what you do and how you respond to kids. And
That
how
sound like more police on campus to me.
That's
all that sounds like. That last one, more police on campus.
Well, they've been lobbying for that for a little bit. And they think that it's one of those things that helps temper the campuses. And we've seen that does not work. But let me go through some hard questions families should be asking right now. Let's get uncomfortable. Number 1, if instruction is interrupted, what is the academic recovery plan in writing? Number 2, how will regression be measured? Number 3, how are IEP service minutes documented during instability? Number 4, who is accountable if a student falls behind because of this disruption? 5, are behavior increases tracked during labor unrest? 6, why are families not given full transparency on staffing shortages? And here's the big one. If instability is critical to learning, why are we acting like instability is harmless? That's what parents need to know right now. And you should be taking notes. And, if you missed this part, go ahead and rewind it because it's taped for your convenience. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can run it back on Facebook and YouTube because we're at a critical junction, like Coco said. It's time for us to figure it out as a community, how we're going to demand the education system treats our children. As tax-paying citizens, and some of us are homeowners, we want our children to be respected, protected, and poured into, period. That's what we expect. Just like you expect for your kids. We want the same for our kids. And if you have to fight amongst each other, make sure the contingency plan works.
Word.
And if you don't have a contingency plan and you're going to send these kids out to the community for the community to deal with, we're putting them at a disadvantage because we've already seen how that works.
Yes.
But I'm going to say it to you. Do you guys have anything else that you think that parents need to know before these strikes take place? Because it's going to happen this coming week for Twin Rivers in 3 days.
I don't think it's anything additional, but what you were saying, I think your first question was asking for the contingency plan in writing. I feel like the in writing part should be highlighted, bolded, underlined, italicized, point 18 font, because I feel like it's really important to have things in writing so you can refer back to it, because you can ask an administrator. You can ask somebody a question, they can tell you anything, or they can tell you what their plan is, and then a week down the line it changes, and they don't tell you that it changes. So if you have something in writing, you can refer back to it. And if they try and backtrack, well, no, you gave this to me in writing, you said this to me, so why is this not being, like, why are you not holding yourself to this standard that you gave me? I feel like having things in writing is super important. So nothing additional to add, but like just emphasizing the having something in writing part, because that helps you be able to help your child better, and then yourself as a parent understanding what's going on by having something you can physically refer back to, and then wave in their face if they say something else.
Mr.
I
Fox,
just want to
before you
tell
go.
parents to continue to be
okay.
prepared, continue to be prepared, continue to keep your ears out, continue to keep your eyes open. Right now, it's going to take a community. It's going to take a village. For parents that don't got nothing to do, maybe it's the best time for you to go get fingerprinted now, try to become some volunteer on campus, try to start moving into campus. If you're a parent that got free time during the day, it's time to, be a community and be a village. So just continue to keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and advocate for your baby as much as possible, because if they don't care about them, you got to care about them.
Mr. Fox.
I was on that same line with Ms. Coco. I was gonna tell them parents go get fingerprinted. Look like some stuff that you might want to get behind is the part where it says more counselors and support staff. That support staff could be you. Another thing that parents might want to get behind is something that we've been talking about for years: smaller class sizes. Smaller class sizes is what these teachers have been asking for years, and their class sizes have been just be getting bigger and bigger. If the class sizes become smaller, that means that it's more. It would be easier for your child to be able to be paid attention to by the teacher, or be able to get their work done. Less people in there to bother them. Another thing that I do believe that these teachers are right on is the health insurance. Why don't you want healthy teachers? I do agree in that. But also, I mimic what Melissa was saying, and what everybody has been saying as far as the parents. Get involved, man. Everybody, this is a time where this is going on. We out here, we advocates, we fighting, we doing IEPs, 504s, BIPs, and this is a time right now where if you don't know what's going on, ask questions. I don't know everything myself about this right now, but I'm asking. I'm saying, what does this mean? Find out so that we can do this better. Because quiet is kept. The thing that's kept the most quiet in these situations happens to be the most loudest source of power. It's over?
No.
Oh, I seen all them things just Google that just now. Happens to be the loudest source of power. The parents have all the control. No matter what they're striking at, all these parents come out in these roles and they say this is what we want. That's what's going to happen. They should get involved. Thank you.
Ms. Patrice.
Same. Everything y'all said, same. Go to some of them school board meetings with BYLP. Like, go, you know what I mean? Like, get involved, ask questions, show up. Like Coco said, great time to get fingerprinted so that you can volunteer at the school. Just stay informed, and like Melissa said, get it in writing with a capital, underline, italicized, 38-point font. You want every document, you want it all in writing, because if you have it in writing, you can also hold the school accountable.
That's right. That's right. This isn't about taking sides in adult disputes. This is about refusing to let children become collateral damage. Families deserve transparency, recovery plans, protection for vulnerable learners, accountability metrics after instability. Because if adults can't guarantee stability, they need to guarantee recovery. No spin, no soft language, no pretending children aren't affected. And with that, we're going to hit y'all with the peace sign because we've gone over just a couple minutes, but that's okay. We'll see y'all next week. As always, Melissa, do you know what we're talking about next week?
I do know what we're talking about next week. Next week, we are talking about silence is still a response. So if emails unanswered, calls ignored, meetings postponed, is school silence incompetence, or is it a deliberate tactic?
Ooh. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace.